Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Andrew Yang and refraction journalism. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Andrew Yang and journalism overall. So, journalism has played a massive part in the journey of Andrew Yang toward the presidency, toward the 2020 U.S. presidency. So, Andrew Yang, since 2017, has been surging forward toward the U.S. presidency. He's had a ton of victories. He's had a few setbacks, and journalism has been there every step of the way with him. And they have helped at times, and a lot of times they have really, really hurt. But today I want to talk about a new form of journalism. A new form of journalism. And this form of journalism is refraction journalism. So, refraction journalism is now taking its place alongside other forms of journalism. So, what are existing forms of journalism? Okay. Some of the existing forms of journalism would include advocacy journalism, broadcast journalism, citizen journalism, data journalism, interactive journalism, investigative journalism, and photojournalism. Those are all established forms of journalism. They all are existent and are in place now. Okay, but refraction journalism is brand new. Actually, it started in April of 2019. We're going to talk a little bit more about the genesis of refraction journalism. But Andrew Yang is very important to the genesis of refraction journalism. All right, so let me define what refraction journalism is for you. All right, so specifically, refraction journalism's definition is the following. Refraction journalism is the practice of covering one element in politics, culture, or society by comparing it to a wide array of other elements in politics, culture, and society that are of personal interest to the journalist. The goal of the numerous comparisons, each a distinct intellectual refraction, is to illuminate a deeper understanding of the first element by identifying a myriad of similarities and or differences between the first element and the numerous other elements it is compared to. All right, so specifically, refraction journalism is that when a journalism comes along and says, okay, I'm going to take this one element in society. It could be a person, it could be a location, it could be a really important item. It could be a relationship between a location, a person, and an item. It could be any of those things. It could be a catalyst. It could be a significant change. It's an element within politics, culture, or society. And then the journalist then compares that over time to a wide array of different things that are really that journalist cares about, that journalist is knowledgeable about, that come in front of that journalist. And the whole idea of this refraction journalism is that the light coming off of these different elements is refracted back onto that first element, that primary element that this journalist is looking at in super detail over an extended period of time. Refraction journalism is brand new. All right, so let's talk about refraction journalism, where it came from. So refraction journalism started on April 29th, 2019, when me, J. Scott Garibay, did the video Andrew Yang, Avengers Endgame's Big Thor and Identity Politics, Garibay on Politics. It was a 26-minute video. It was really at the very beginning of when I realized that Andrew Yang was truly a once-in-10 generation leader, and that what was happening in the primary, in the U.S. 2020 primary Democrat race toward the U.S. presidency, that Andrew Yang's run was really in many ways unprecedented, and that traditional journalism in no way was going to be able to cover him. I can tell you right now, on April 29th, 2019, I did not understand in my heart or my mind that the Yang blackout would manifest. I didn't get it right then, but I think I had an inkling of it, right? Because when I saw Andrew Yang, it was very, very clear to me that it was clear to me then that traditional media had a massive problem and was fracturing. Now, that's not a big mystery. Like, literally, traditional media itself runs stories about itself constantly saying we're falling apart, right? Like, you can look in any newspaper and you will find stories about newspapers falling apart, like, and really literally being dismantled, and television stations doing stories about how difficult it is to be a television station and do stories. Like it's crazy. They just cover themselves, and they talk all the time about how their own traditional structures are literally cracking and falling apart, right? And so I really realized then that journalism needed to change, right? Now, for me, I've been a writer for a very long time, and YouTube. It was very clear to me that YouTube was a big part of journalism, and I think YouTube is going to be a massive part of journalism going forward. And for two reasons, I think one, YouTube is an absolutely incredible platform. What it provides for free is, again, absolutely unprecedented, and no company in the world has ever done what Google has done and is offering what Google is offering here. YouTube is truly unprecedented. And the ability for people to come forward and serve as journalists is really incredible. And so what YouTube offers, right? At the same time, traditional media is absolutely abandoning their commitment to objectivity, their commitment to. I think that's the biggest thing. There's so much partisanship in traditional media that there's a problem, because there is a massive tradition that traditional media was supposed to give objectivity and is still pretending to be objective. I don't think the problem is that traditional media is partisan. I think it's they're pretending not to be partisan. That is one of the issues, right? And so I really, really felt that there needed to be a new form of journalism to cover someone like Andrew Yang, right? And when I began on April 29th, 2019, I did not say to myself, I'm going to create Refraction Journalism. I think about a month after that, I realized what I was doing was very, very different than what was being done by other journalists. And I continued to go down this road, and it really started to manifest to me that there was an opportunity here to do something very, very different and to supply a new voice in journalism and a new form of journalism. And that's exactly what Refraction Journalism is. So what have I done through Refraction Journalism? So the Refraction Journalism, I have used the following elements to refract intellectual light upon Andrew Yang. I'll list the different unusual elements I've used to refract intellectual light onto Andrew Yang to get a deeper understanding of this person who is running for president. Vernon Dursley, Bitcoin, The Mandalorian, Downhill Longboarding, Meeples, Christmas Gibbons, Arthur Fleck, Mr. Mistopheles, Six Underground, Dungeons and Dragons, Painting a House, Formula One Racing, Octopuses, Cybertrucks, Warging, Rappers, Martial Arts, The Double Tap, A Non-Retribution Queen Loss, ASMR, The 120 Frames per Second Film Rate, Artisanal Jam Stands, The Last of the Great V8 Interceptors, Coffee, Post Malone, Increased Use of Parasols, The Falkland Islands, Squad Goals, Comedy, Tears, Dora the Explorer, Friends Rachel Green, Feral Hogs, Midsummer, One-Handed Press Checks, Boo Boo Jeffries, The Wandering Earth, Drifting, The Red Queen's Race, Blackpink, Memory, and Mjolnir. That's it, right? I have discussed Andrew Yang in context to all of those elements, right? This is what refraction journalism is. It is intellectual refraction on one central element to other elements that are hyper personal to someone, and their understanding of those things, their appreciation of those things, help them to explore that first element in a much deeper light. Right? And I will tell you right now, I truly believe this new form of journalism has incredible value. And the reason why is I think right now, I will admit, refraction journalism is at its infancy, it's at its inception, right? But advocacy journalism, broadcast journalism, citizen journalism, data journalism, interactive journalism, investigative journalism, and photojournalism, they are all under massive, massive pressure to fix huge problems that have come into their sphere just recently. And their stumble, I think, opens up the opportunity for a new form of journalism to fill in some gaps that those forms of journalism have very much left open. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this today is threefold. One, I would like to stake my claim to it. I, J. Scott Garibay, invented refraction journalism. I iterated it for the first time on April 29th, 2019, with the 26-minute video, Andrew Yang, Avengers, Endgame, Big Thor, and Identity Politics, Garibay on Politics. And so I'm staking my claim to refraction journalism, okay? Not any type of ownership, okay? Just saying, hey, I did this first, right? Because we're going to get to what I want to see happen with refraction journalism in a minute, right? Next, I really want to thank Andrew Yang. I can tell you right now, without a doubt, refraction journalism would not exist without Andrew Yang, all right? When I saw Andrew Yang, I understood that this person who is trying to bring forward the freedom dividend, the greatest, most selfless, most innovative, most wonderful attempt to spread selflessness and to apply a genuine attempt to truly bring humanity to first place. What his nobility, his intelligence, his ability to communicate was something I had never seen in a leader in my entire life. And it strained me. It strained my creativity. It strained my ability to write. It strained my ability to be creative. It strained my ability to communicate. And it forced me to create this new form of journalism to build a frame that would fit even the concepts that Andrew Yang discusses. He's that big of a person. His heart is that big. His mind is that big. His soul is that big. He is huge. And I am so hoping this country can see the value of this human being and that he truly needs to be our next president. Truly hope we can get there. And second, and next, I really want to thank Yang Gang. Because if Yang Gang wasn't here to every day come and receive refraction journalism and say this is of value and there is an audience for this and people should pay attention to this and people should interact with this and like this and share this and comment on this and engage with this, then refraction journalism wouldn't exist. So a huge thank you to Andrew Yang, a huge thank you to Yang Gang. And the third is, I, J. Scott Garibay, I am staking my claim on refraction journalism. My claim is, I did it first. I invented it, right? That is the end of my claim, right? I don't want any remuneration for this. What I really want is I want refraction journalism to expand, just like every other legitimate form of journalism, right? Advocacy journalism, broadcast journalism, citizen journalism, data journalism, interactive journalism, investigative journalism, and photojournalism. I want to expand like crazy. I don't want to be the only person doing refraction journalism. I want 1,000 refraction journalists out there, just like me. No one should have to pay a dime to me or give me anything to move forward as refraction journalists. I want there to be a 1,000 refraction journalists tomorrow, right? I think it's important. I really think that this new form of journalism should spread. That's all that is my opinion. I would love to hear your opinion on refraction journalism. Also, if you have any ideas for how to spread refraction journalism, how to refine this new discipline, how to make it better, please let me know. Also, just so you're aware, I have put all the thoughts that I have here down below in the doobly doo. Please check that out as well. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you today. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.